up, homies? I'm John Medina, and this is my podcast, episode 6, coming to you pre-recorded from my living room. Today on the show, Blackberry used to be cool, Google's your education, Martians, Nicki Minaj, story time, and an app review. Oh, Blackberry. I remember when I got my first job in high school, and I finally convinced my parents to let me get a smartphone. And this was before, Apple or Android even existed. And I had a Blackberry, and I would lay in bed at night and play Brick Breaker, and they had a few apps in their app store and stuff. But Blackberry really started suffering when iPhone and Android came out. So they finally done something that's worthwhile. BlackBerry's going to make an Android phone. So they're saying that it's still going to have the privacy and security that BlackBerry's known for. And it's actually going to have the keyboard that BlackBerry's known for as well. But it's just going to run on the Android operating system, which is going to make more people buy it than they would before. But I'm still not sure how well it's going to work out, just because BlackBerry's kind of an older name. It hasn't been around prominently for a while, and so people may be uncomfortable with that. The keyboard phones for Android have never worked out well. There's been a few that have been out, and none of them have sold well. And maybe it was because of the name of the company that made the phone. It could not have had anything to do with the keyboard. You never know, so we'll find out. One of the things I like the most about Google is they're constantly trying to improve things and improve people. So Google has a lot of different programs for schools and stuff. They've got Google Classroom, which can make it easier for the teacher to communicate with the students outside of the classroom and things like that. And now they're starting something else that's really cool. It's called Google Expedition. And it's essentially what it does is they make free virtual reality field trips that schools can use. So, like, you have kids in a school in the middle of Chicago, and they're talking about the pyramids. A lot of people learn visually. They can read in a book, but they're not really going to absorb everything. And sure, they could watch a documentary or watch a movie, but it's not interactive, so the kids aren't really going to pay attention to it, right? So Google will allow the schools to use their virtual reality, their Google Cardboard app, and they can go take an actual field trip of the pyramids from their classroom, and the teacher can control everything and take them on a little tour. When I was looking at the story, I was like, so how are they going to actually access the virtual? I know that the access to the virtual reality program's free, but how are they going to view it if they don't have a smartphone or they don't have a capable smartphone? Is the school going to have to provide that for them? And the answer is no. Google actually provides devices for free as well for schools. And I really just think that's amazing. You don't see a lot of big companies that have a lot of money using that money to give free programs to schools and kids. And Google does that. They do it all the time. They try to do anything they can because they understand that, helping those kids out is going to help our future out. When we're old and gray, the kids are going to be the ones that take over, just like we are as our parents and grandparents get older. And so they're really trying to secure that future for them, and I really like that. This week was a big week for space. NASA came out with a press release that basically said that there is flowing water on Mars. So it's been known for a while that water's been on Mars, frozen on the caps, the polar ice caps, just like Earth has. But they never knew for sure if there was any flowing water on it. But what they figured out is that when in the summer months of Mars, which it has a summer just like Earth, they defrost a little bit, if you will, and melt, and there's these little streaks on the surface of Mars. They get bigger in the summer and smaller in the winter, and they're created because salt water runs down it. And so this proves that there is flowing water on Mars, which may mean that there are some microorganisms that are living there. Now, whether they only live during the warm months and die during the winter because they can't handle the cold or they don't have enough water is something that we'll still have to look into. But I think it's awesome that we're finally getting to the point where, okay, so it could be seriously considered that we could live on Mars if we could figure out how to increase the temperature of the planet during the winter time, at least, stop it from getting so cold, and reboot its atmosphere. ABC Family. Family. Since you can't see me, I'll let you know that I put air quotes around family, because they're getting ready to make a show about Nicki Minaj's life growing up. Okay, I say Nicki Minaj to mock her. I know her name's Nicki Minaj. But anyway, so they're making a show about her life growing up in New York City. One, I think ABC Family's suffering from what a lot of the TV networks are right now. They're struggling to keep viewers, and they're struggling to make money because of cord cutters and Netflix and Hulu and all that jazz. And so they're just grabbing the first thing that they think can make them a dime. They're trying to find the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or the Storage Wars, or the Alaskan Wilderness Kerflufflemen, or the Search for Bigfoot. The thing that is so ridiculous that everyone has to watch it and talk about it, and then they get views and it makes them money. But that's not what their channel is about. It's not about a scripted comedy based on somebody's life there's no way, if it's accurately based on her life, it could be family friendly for the most part. I mean, listen to one of her songs and try to tell me that that's family friendly in any way, shape, or form. But I guess whatever their prerogative is, I think they're going to gain some viewers for it, but they're also going to lose a lot of their niche following. So there's a lot of people that watch every show on ABC Family. And so they kind of have that almost guaranteed bottom line number that no matter what, this show's going to get X amount of views, and they're not going to have that benefit with this, and it may make their other shows suffer. They should do something like AMC did. They were suffering, they didn't know what they were going to do, and so they made a badass show. They made The Walking Dead, and it blew up. I mean, it started as a little niche thing, people that read the comics or graphic novels, or people that were interested in graphic novels, and people that liked zombie stuff started watching it. And then it just got some steam on social media, and everybody was talking about it. And it turned into this big, huge phenomenon. And it gave AMC the steam they needed to start making some other shows. So why doesn't ABC Family do something like that? They're sitting here doing something that is completely ridiculous just to make a couple bucks. Whatever. ABC Family. Hashtag vomit. And you know what the worst part about it is? It will probably work, and it will probably be a huge hit, and we'll probably have to hear about it for the next 5 to 10 years. Ugh. And now for just a little bit of story time. I don't know why I sang there. Sorry. A few days ago, I jumped in my whip, and I was driving to work. It was pretty nice outside, so I had my window down a little bit, and lo and behold, Mother Nature decided to take a leaf and allow it to fly into my window that, mind you, was not fully rolled down. I'd say maybe a third of the way down. Leaf flew in, freaking slapped me in the face, dude. I was so mad. I was scared, too. Like, it startled me. You know, I wasn't, like, screaming, like, spider in my car, kill it now, kill it with fire scared. But, like, I didn't know. I was watching the road. I wasn't watching the trees. I didn't know that I was going to have to watch out to defend my life from a stupid leaf flying in my window. Seriously. Do you guys have any stories where you're driving and something out of the ordinary happened? If you do, send them in on the next episode. I will share some of your stories with our listeners. An app review. So the app that I'm going to review this week is another game, but it's a little bit of a different game. It's called Adventure Capitalist, and what you do is you start out with one lemonade stand, and every time you hit the little lemonade button, it generates X amount of dollars. Once you get up to like $1,000, I think it is, you can hire a manager, and then you don't have to hit the little lemonade button for it to make money. It will keep doing it on its own. Now, there is a amount of time that it takes to make that money, so 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever. And then you can buy other businesses. So you can buy a newspaper, you can buy a car wash, and then it keeps going down until you can finally buy an oil company. And so you can hire managers for all of this, and then you actually can increase the amount of like lemonade stands that you have. And for every 25, 50, 100, 200, 300, you get special perks. It'll start generating money faster. It'll increase the amount of money that it generates. And you can do this for each one of them. You can also get upgrades in the little store for free. Well, not for free, but for the game money. You can get these upgrades, and it'll increase the profits by 3 or 4 times. And then as you go along, once you start generating quite a bit of money, you start getting something called angel investors. And then once you have, whatever amount you want to go ahead and start with, I think the first time I did it, I only had like 10 angel investors. But you claim the investors, and they increase the amount of money that each thing generates by a certain percentage based on how many investors you have. And to claim the investors, you have to lose all of your money and all of your businesses and start all the way back over. But it's really beneficial because it helps you generate more money because you get a higher percentage of money. So this game is really fun. When you first start playing it, it takes a little bit of time to put into it because it takes so long to get the money that you have to kind of keep checking it to get what you want and get what you want. But once you start getting a lot of angel investors and you start having to buy stuff that's really, really, really expensive, you can take a little break from it, check it, and, maybe whenever you're laying in bed playing on Facebook in the morning, and then you can check it maybe at lunch or something, or when you got a little bit of free time. But you don't have to worry about monitoring all the time, and really you never have to check it. It'll just keep collecting money, and then next week sometime you can just buy all the stuff you want or claim your investors or do whatever. But it's a really fun game, and I've enjoyed it a lot, and so I wanted to share it with you guys. And if you play it, let me know and we can kind of talk about it. If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribe, sharing, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can find me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo. Places to find the show: you can go to the website, JustJohnPodcast.wordpress.com. You can listen to the show on SoundCloud.com/JustJohn-podcast, YouTube.com/JFMedina2010, and you can also find me on Stitcher. Just go to Google and search for Stitcher Just John Podcast, or go to Stitcher and search for Just John Podcast. You can also email the show at justjohnpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.